I have an honest question. How did all of you British people manage to take the most stressful holiday season on the planet and make it a calm, relaxing experience? Obviously, I'm coming off of the American hustle and bustle of December. The holiday season here in the UK is more just got this cozy vibe. You got the mild weather related complaining. In all fairness, it's more just about enjoying the season and being with loved ones and not so stressful or riddled with tension. How did you do that? So, growing up in the United States, the Christmas season starts the day after Thanksgiving. You start seeing Christmas stuff out around Halloween. Let's be honest. But even though we have like Christmas stuff out really, really early because consumeristic culture, we tend to like wait to the last minute to do everything anyway. My take on it is probably because of the Thanksgiving thing. Like I have that mindset. As I was explaining in one of my Vlogmas episodes, I have this mentality where we have lots of birthdays in September, Halloween is in October, then you do Thanksgiving, then Christmas starts. Even though I see all of the decorations start to go up, the stores start to be filled, maybe I'll buy a gift here and there if I find something really, really good. But for the most part, I reserve everything Christmassy until the day after Thanksgiving, earliest. So here in Britain, you start celebrating early, like September, but it's not like an obsessive compulsive thing. You wait because, queuing, but you're patient. You don't like rush the joy. The decorations come out, but they come out slowly and in small little increments, bits here and there, almost like you're setting yourself up emotionally to prepare yourselves for the season. And then December 1st hits and suddenly it's kind of looking like Christmas. The thing is, you guys don't really decorate outside of your homes as much, although I have seen more lately than used to be out here. But it's still that British understatement in most cases. And usually it's inside your home. It's the British excitement level that corresponds with it that I think I'm really like feeling this season. It's subtle, understated, and charming. The British way, it seems. Meanwhile, Americans at this point in time are blowing fuses because you plugged in 14 inflatables into one socket and everything's going haywire inside. No, I don't know. It's just really, really incredible to me how you can even take something that is so, at least I'm accustomed to it being so seemingly stressful, who to buy for, what to get the perfect gift. Is it on sale? Is it a lot of money? I have the office grab bag gift and then I have the kids grab bag, whatever at school and all their friends and then their friends' parents. I have to buy something because they, let my child stay over their house one day or something. All of that's gone. It's just not nearly as chaotic, especially the shopping thing I've noticed. In America, holiday shopping is almost a war zone. It's like insane. And I'm not even talking about like the Black Friday UFC match type stuff that happens. It's enjoyable. You have all these Christmas markets that pop up throughout all the towns. Plus, you have the regular stores that always have some kind of Christmassy theme going on. They usually have a sale going on. It's surprisingly wholesome and polite, organized, structured. And in the US, it's almost just like a free for all trying to get to the right thing at the right time for the right price. Or else, someone might be mad. And heaven forbid somebody doesn't get the exact thing that they wanted on their Christmas list this year. It's just always such a like stressor. There's just always this underlying hecticness with everything that Americans do, but it's definitely heightened in the holiday season. Let me talk about the British Christmas food for a second. Kind of obsessed with pigs in a blanket, but they're only a Christmas thing. The other thing that they become obsessed with around Christmas time are the mince pies, which I don't really care for, to be honest with you. I think they're an acquired taste, and I can see why, if you've grown up with them, you want them around Christmas, but they're not really my thing. I get the whole like hullabaloo around it. You get Yorkshire wraps this time of year, which are fabulous. They're basically a Thanksgiving dinner inside a wrap. I've talked about them before. Love them. Sometimes you can find them in random pop-up stores with random events throughout the year. Definitely going to be at least one pop-up store around you that does Yorkshire wraps during the holiday season. But American Christmas food is basically like Thanksgiving part two for the most part. I mean, we didn't have that kind of tradition. We always had a lasagna for our Christmas dinner because my mom didn't want to make all that turkey and all that mashed potatoes and casseroles and stuff all over again. So we have a little bit of a different tradition, but the British holiday dinner, Christmas dinner, is basically a roast dinner times like five. You know, you just have a bunch of extra things going on it. But considering how scrumptious a roast dinner is here in the UK, yeah, I have to admit, I don't mind it at all. Plus, because I don't really get a big Thanksgiving dinner, then I don't mind having the big turkey and lots of trimmings with it for Christmas. It basically, you know, satisfies my Thanksgiving craving that I've grown up with my entire life. I just have to wait a month to enjoy it. The thing about Christmas in America that I miss a little bit is eggnog. Now, I don't miss it necessarily because I love eggnog, because I actually think eggnog by itself is really gross and disgusting. But you put a little bit of bourbon in that. All right, you put a lot of bourbon in it, and it is delicious. So it might be delicious just for the fact that it's getting you drunk and you're not paying attention to the taste so much. Could be. I know you have something similar here. Somebody was telling me, I can't remember what it was called, Adavant or something like that. It's kind of like eggnog, but it's thicker, and you mix it with lemonade. It's already got alcohol in it, something along those lines. I think you call them snowballs. That's the drink that you call. Haven't had one yet. Don't know if it's any good, but I do miss the eggnog, but only with the bourbon. But the eggnog on its own, yeah, that's probably one tradition that the UK was right to reject by far. Next up, we have movies. Okay. So in America, you know, a lot of the movies translate between the two cultures. But the two that I want to compare is the US has the Polar Express. And to me, the equivalent of that is the UK snowman. The snowman, I think it's called. I am not a fan of Polar Express. I don't really understand the hype of it. I think the animation is crap. I think it's a decent story, to be honest, but I think it's just drug out. It takes way too long to get to the end, and I basically get bored. The snowman, much smaller, much more compact, kind of reminds me of like the storylines of like Frosty the Snowman, which is a traditional cartoon that we have in America, but it's much more dramatic. And I remember the first time I watched it was last year, and nobody warned me how emotionally devastating it could actually be. And I was like, why did you let an entire generation of children absorb that? It's really like devastating. But in all fairness, it's reality, right? But it is fun, a little bit more whimsical. I feel like the Polar Express was trying to be a modern version of the snowman in the US kind of commercialized way. I don't know. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that. But in my opinion, snowman, hands down, much better. This brings me to the feeling. It sounds really weird. Anyway, the real difference between an American Christmas season, holiday season, versus a British holiday season. American is loud, a British is warm and cozy. Pretty indicative of the cultures. The US makes Christmas more of like a performance. You have to get the lights up, you have to get the right decorations out front, and you got to get the right decorations inside so it looks like a perfect magazine cover type Christmas ambiance. You got to make sure that you have all the family together, even though you may not like most of them and it's annoying. You're like cramming like 4 people in a room, and you got kids sleeping on the couch, and it's super uncomfortable. Whereas the UK feeling is like UK in a cozy, damp, dark gray weather with a fun spirit underneath it. I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't have that hecticness. It just doesn't have that underlying tension all the time in everything that you do. And there's no real obligation. Traditionally, Christmas is a time to spend with family, but you don't have to stay at people's houses. You don't necessarily have to have the big dinner with the entire family there. You could go to a cozy pub and meet up with friends or maybe extended members of the family there. Maybe go for a nice quiet walk if the rain stops long enough. A warm living room with those terrible paper crowns from the crackers, reading the awful jokes and trying to do the kids' toy things that I can never do. You just have a cup of tea or a cup of hot cocoa. It just feels more magical. It feels more comfortable. I definitely feel less pressure around holiday season here in the UK. And I think that's why I have grown to love the holidays so much more. I love giving gifts. I love finding the perfect gift for somebody. But in America, it just felt so obligatory. I always end up spending more than I needed to, or I forgot this person, so I bought something at the last minute. And I realized that like it's more about the spectacle and it's more about the perception that you have for others than really celebrating the season. And here in the UK, it's about calmness. It's about really being present and togetherness and the permission to just slow down and enjoy the company you keep. So I moved here to the UK at 45. And obviously, in your midlife, you start to reflect and you think of things differently in any respect, right? No matter what your environment is around you. So for me, the holidays definitely hit differently now. My relationship with my mother is strained. My father has passed on. My only sibling has passed as well. And it's really just me, my partner, and my child for the most part. So I felt like when I was younger, there was so much more obligation and there's so much more hype for a day. And then you can't even really enjoy it because you have to go back to work the next day. When you're a child, obviously you're off, but then you either have daycare or, your parents have to go to work. So it's just not, you don't really get to enjoy it as much. As I got older in the US, I started to see the hecticness. I started to see the obligations that didn't really make sense to me. And I started to step back and really just hone in on what I thought, the holiday season was all about. It's really about gratitude and making the people that you love feel comfortable and feel the love that you feel for them, make them feel how important they are to you. And here in the UK, I've been able to just expand that a little bit more. I think because I have the freedom to breathe. I don't have all of those obligations on me and I don't have the hecticness around me that I'm absorbing. For me this year, Christmas is about gratitude, making a home far away from home, and realizing that the world outside can be hectic, can be cold, can push you into obligations from their perspective, but inside, it's the people around you that really keep you warm. And I'm so lucky because I have amazing people around me in my private life and here in our community. I'm just going to embrace this UK holiday spirit and see maybe if I could put a little bit of an American flair on it.